G'day and welcome back. As you can see, I don't have a project in front of me. I need to address the elephant in the room. No, not that elephant. This one here. This thing is huge. Here's a recent photo of me next to the radio and you can get an idea of how big it is. The timberwork on the cabinet itself is amazing. It's so ornate. I really don't know what they made it for. I don't know why it's so large. It stands about 4 foot high, or about 125 centimetres tall. I picked this up during COVID and it was in New South Wales. We live in Queensland. It was about a 100k trip down to the border. The border was closed, so we had to pass the radio over some orange blockades in the middle of the road, and I couldn't even get it in the car. We ended up putting it across the back seat. The finish on the cabinet is in very good condition. I'm not going to need to do too much of that, maybe give it a bit of a polish or something. The top is a little bit thin or worn or something, so I'll have to do some work on that. But really, just a minimal amount of work will make this look good again. This is information I got on it a couple of years ago when I picked it up. It says it's an Aristocrat model 502, or Aristocrat if you want to say it that way. I've got a circuit diagram. I don't know how I came up with the model number, but I assume that's what it is. So let me get it out of the back. The chassis is just sitting in here, so I can just pull it straight out. This is the front of it. There's no dial glass. I'm going to have to make something. Someone's put little pencil marks in there. And I guess that tunes, yeah, so I guess that needle's going to go all the way around there. So I'll have to make a dial glass that fills that area there. I've turned the radio around. This is the back, of course. 5 valve set, pretty standard layout. I did notice one of these valves had a 2 in front of it, so there might be 2.5 volt valves. This one here is lost its little cap, the adhesive's failed. In fact, I can see 58 on there, so that is a 2.5 volt valve. So these are probably all 2.5 volts. The IF transformers are capacitance tuned instead of the normal induction, so this radio is older than I thought. I thought it was maybe 35, but maybe a bit earlier than that. There's a little switch on the back there, probably tone, although it's up near the aerial. It might be a local distance switch. I'll flip it over, we'll see what's underneath. Here's the bottom, and colour me surprised, somebody's been in here and replaced all these, not recently, but maybe 40 years ago or something. Look at the size of that capacitor, it's massive. I've just realised there's holes where they used to have electrolytic capacitors bolted on the bottom. They've all been removed, unfortunately. Up in the top corner there's a wire off, and there's a resistor there with no wire on it. That's connected to the antenna, and there's the switch there, so that will be a local distance antenna switch. Big heavy resistor there with tappings on it, looks okay, can't see any wires hanging off it. There's the transformer, some caps, that one's a bit older. That looks about 60s as well. Because it's all been redone, it looks pretty good, the wiring's alright. I think I'll put some power on it, but I'm going to stop here. We have Cyclone Alfred heading our way, and I think our house is about ground zero according to the predictions. That's expected to hit here in about 12 hours or so. So I'm going to go outside, I'll tie everything down, take things inside and make sure everything's secure, get some candles out, some torches, radios, all the things you do in a cyclone. So provided we survive and when the power comes back on, I'll come back and we'll put some power on this thing and see what it does. When I signed off yesterday, it was Wednesday afternoon. I spent the rest of the afternoon cleaning up around the place, tying everything down and ready for the cyclone, which was supposed to come across the coast on Friday morning. So we would have felt the effects of it maybe Thursday night. The cyclone has stalled off the coast there and it's just done a bit of a U-turn and slowed down. So they're now expecting it to come through on Saturday.
Tropical Cyclone Alfred stalled in its movement overnight and is now expected to take a slower track as it moves towards the east coast of Australia.
This is the view from one of the bedrooms in our home, and I'll just try and give you some updates as the cyclone comes through. They're expecting winds of 150 odd kilometres an hour, so it's going to be pretty windy. There's some big trees up the front there, so I'm hoping that if they fall over, they don't fall on the house. So that's where we are now. We're just waiting to see what happens next. It's been 2 days since I looked at this and I got ready to brace for this cyclone, but it's just circling off the coast there. It's not coming in. They expect it's going to come in later tonight. So I thought I'll do a little bit of work on this while we wait for it to get here. As I said the other day, I'll put some power on it. We'll see what it does. The speaker that came with it is no good. There's no cone left in it, so I'll have to re-cone it. I have temporarily added some wires here and I've just soldered them onto where the plug goes in for the speaker. This is a field coil radio, so the field coil is in the circuit now. My problem is this wire here that was just hanging off, and I initially just thought, oh, it probably goes up there. I didn't really think much about it, but it's actually going into the first IF can here. And if we look at it, there's one wire there, another wire there, there's one in here going in there as well, and this one. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course the grid comes out the top and goes onto the 58 valve. So there's actually 5 wires coming out of there. As usual for Aussie radios, has 4 wires, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's a 5th one there. So I'm not sure what it's doing or how it's connected, or if it's doing anything. It actually looked like it had been snipped off. I have bared back some of the wire in there, and I'm going to do some continuity tests. I have my meter here. So this wire here goes from the grid on that 58 valve to ground. There's one of the wires coming out. It's going straight to ground. So if I put my little clip on there and touch up here, it's 6 or more ohms. So that's correct. That's exactly right. Now the other side comes off the oscillator coil here. So that'll be B plus coming through here onto the plate of the 57 valve. So one of the wires there and the plate. Now the plate on these is, that's 2, number 2. So, hang on, what's that? Oh, it's just flying there. Alright, it's not touching, it looks like it's touching. So that goes there, and it should come out here. So that should have continuity, once again about 7 ohms. I'll put the test lead clip on that wire that I don't know what it is. We'll see if it's got continuity to anywhere. No. Where else? Here? No, it's obviously not there, and obviously not on the grid either, because that's on the same wire. So that wire is not going anywhere. I'll plug it in. I really don't know what that does. I'll have to take that cover off to find out. I'll see if it works. Maybe it'll just work without it connected. I've got the radio set up. We'll put some power on it. I have got an antenna on it, but the antenna may not work very well because it's sitting on the ground, because I took it down because of the Cyclone. So I'll put some power on. It's on dim bulb. Wow, that didn't really come on at all. Oh, it's buzzing or humming. 31 watts. Not hearing anything. Oh, there we go. Oh, the amp's working. So the amp's working. Nothing up here. 100 may not be enough. I don't think that antenna's working, so I'm going to put my old antenna on. Doesn't work as well as that one, but it still works. I've got my generator going. I'll try and pump that through. The IF is supposed to be, there it is there, 440 or something. Whoa. So 440, yeah. So it's working there. Oh, not so much there. Oh, I can just hear it. I'll put it on full power and see what happens. A lot of hum. I can still hear it. So it is getting through. Yeah, but certainly I can hear a station. Ah. I'll just turn this off. Huh. I'll try and... Yeah, okay, so it is working. Take it off that. So it is working. It's working well from here, not so much here. So this is the IF transformer that's got the wire hanging out. I think I'll undo it, take all the nuts off. I'll have a look inside, just see where that wire actually goes. It's not necessarily a problem there. I mean, it could be a weak valve here or something. Once again, I think I need to pause for the Cyclone. It's getting near my dinner time, so time I have dinner, we're supposed to start feeling the effects later this evening. So I'll leave this till after the Cyclone's passed. I'll come back and we'll resume. The Cyclone's passed us now. We're now in a tropical low. It hit us about 8 o'clock last night after dinner. and we lost power at midnight. So I won't be getting back to the radio anytime soon. They're expecting to take a number of days before all power's restored. There's about 250,000 homes without power today. The mobile towers or cell towers have been wiped out, so we don't have any cell connection at all. We didn't fare too badly. The maximum gust I saw on my home weather station was about 80 kilometres an hour or so that's what, 50 mile an hour. So not too bad at all. A couple of big bangs and noises that start to worry you, but that was all right. I lost the TV antenna. That's now laying very close to the solar panels, so I was a bit lucky it didn't hit the solar panels. They're just expecting an enormous amount of rain over the next 2 or 3 days, and that's going to cause flooding. Anyway, I'll have to wait till the power comes back on before I can get back to my radio. It's day 2. We still don't have any power, any mobile phone connection, so we are completely isolated from anybody else. And if anything, the weather is worse than it was when the cyclone was supposed to be hitting. It's just windy and raining. It's relentless. Hopefully I can report back tomorrow with a bit better news. All right, it's day 3. We still don't have power, we don't have internet, and the mobile towers haven't come back online either. I don't think they're going to come back until we get power in the area. They just haven't got any power to run the towers. At least it stopped raining here, so it's not too bad. We can go out and try and clear some of the debris up, I think. Now, from the news reports, we got about 200 millimetres of rain yesterday. That's about 8 inches, I guess. Assuming the local dump, or tip as we call it, is open, I'll bag up all the freezer contents and take that down there and get rid of that before it starts to smell. Hopefully this is the last report, and the next one will be in front of the radio and we can start working on it again. I'm back. We're in one piece. Any footage I showed through the other day all came from news service. We're not in any danger of flooding or anything like that, so we didn't have any trees fall on us. So we came out pretty much unscathed. I'm going to get back to this radio now. When we left, I had a signal here. I used my generator, I put a signal in here, and when we put the signal in here, nothing came through, or very little. We could pick up a radio station. So I did pick up another 57 valve. I will try it. I don't really think that will be the problem. I suspect it's something to do with this can here. I'll put power on. It's still on dim bulb. It's warmed up, and as I recall, that was working, wasn't it? Didn't get much off my fingers there. I'll put the generator on. We'll see if that's made a difference. So I'll try it. Okay, that one works. Just a small amount coming through. So yeah, we're back where we started. That really hasn't made any difference. I really think it's in here. Before I pull it apart, I'll just adjust these a little bit. I've turned the generator a bit so we do get a signal. Very carefully, I'm using a metal screwdriver here, which is a bit scary. That's done up as tight as that'll go, that one. I'll try this one. That's not having any effect. Yeah, so probably the trouble is in there. I'll take the nuts off, we'll take that can away. There's the two nuts there, there's one up the top and this one here. And the two nuts up the top, they're going to come off as well. And I need to cut that. It's kind of what I thought it was going to be. There's a rivet down there, not sure what that's of. It's been drilled out, and a little washer. But this has 3 coils. This is the one that's not connected to anything. Don't know. I don't know what to make of that. You can see this one is the adjuster that's fully done up. So I'm not sure why that is. That would indicate there's an issue somewhere. That coil there is the primary, that's the secondary. This thing here with the spare wire on it is a plate. It's a disc. It hasn't got any wiring. It doesn't go anywhere else. It's just an sort of an interference between the two coils. I'm not sure what that is supposed to do. Should I have connected it to ground? I've removed the coil from the set and I've found out where this rivet came from. It's holding down this adjuster here, this variable capacitor that was wound all the way down. So that's the secondary. The primary one was wound full down like that, and this was just up in the air. So whether this has been overwound and then snapped off the rivet, I don't know, or the other way around, the rivet snapped off and they compensated by doing the screw all the way up. Now I can't really get a rivet in there. I could, but I don't actually have a hollow rivet that long. I can try and put a screw in there. Hold it down, that's about the right length. It does stick up a bit. So the aluminium can fits around there and it may touch. Probably won't. Actually, there might be something in there. Oh, there's a little washer in there. I probably don't need that. So if I put that back again, that washer that was in there as well, I think that went in there. I'll just put a nut and maybe even a lock washer. I've put the screw and the nut in there, so that's all working properly now, and I can adjust this properly. Now, I did check, and it does have the bit of mica in there, so it's all there. Whether that's the problem or not, I'm not sure. I asked my friend and mentor at the radio club about this disc here, and I don't think he'd seen it before either. So he said it's probably meant to be grounded. I don't know. I'll leave it. I don't think that's what's stopping it. Either way, I'll put this all together and I'll test it out. We'll see if it's made any difference. I've refitted the coil and I'll give it a check. I've got the generator on over there. It's set at the IF frequency and I'll just clip it up there. I'll put some power on. Still on dim bulb. Now I realised what I did in there is not going to make the radio work. There's something else wrong. But I really wanted to know what that spare wire was, and I fixed that capacitor while we're there. It's warmed up, the signal's coming through. I need to adjust these trimmers here, and this is the one that was broken. Ooh. It's getting through. Oh, I nearly stabbed myself with the trimmer there. I've connected the other end of this clip lead to the wire that hangs out there. I'll just ground it, see if it makes any difference. It's actually attenuating it a bit. Just a little bit. Alright. What I do know now is that's okay. I know those coils are okay. I know this valve is okay, I think, because you can put your finger there, it does get through. Or not your finger, I'm sorry, the generator will get through. But this may not even have power. The generator's got enough strength to just pretty much blast its way through that valve there. And this one, I changed this one. I'm pretty sure this one's okay. The one I used to change it with was okay. We did get a station the other day, so I know the capacitor's working, and I think I know the oscillator's working. Otherwise, we wouldn't have tuned the station. I think the next thing to do is see if we've got any voltages on these two valves, or certainly this one. I've tipped the chassis up. I'll check this resistor. This is the most likely suspect. I'll put some power in again. I'll clip a lead of my DMM on the ground there. Now this one here is coming straight off the capacitor, so it should be about 200 volts odd. 184. This one does the screens for the 57 and the 58 valve on the front there. Yeah, nothing there. Well, 184, 12, 13. Okay, so there's a break. That's 11. Somewhere here. Might be there. So right about there, there's a break in the wire somewhere. I'll take this out and we'll be able to see where the break is. I've taken it out and I can't actually see any broken wire. Usually it sort of unravels a bit. It looks a bit black around there where it's been heating up. But the break is somewhere around here. So I'll get the meter in there, we'll just try and find it. I've connected one side of my meter to the end tab here. I'm going to clean this because it's very corroded looking. Alright, we'll put the meter on down here. We've got 20k, 21, open, no. Now we've gone into meg, so 21k, open loop. It's gone to meg, so the break is about here somewhere. I think it's about there. I'll just put a mark there. I've got the resistor under my electronic microscope, and there's my little mark, and there's the break there, right where my mark is. Very good. I have the old resistor here. It's got 15k written on the end of it, so that's a good starting point. I've jury rigged up a load of resistors here and connected them into the radio in the appropriate place. Now this end is B+. I've then got two resistors to where the screen taps off, and these are 2.2 and 3.3, so that's 5.5. The overall resistance I've made about 15k, so I knew that was supposed to be about 15k. This was just slightly less than 15k, so this came out to 5.5, nearly 6. And I used a bit of Ohm's law and data from the actual valve technical specifications, so I think it should be close. The B+ is supposed to be at 250 volts, and the screen is supposed to be 100. I don't think we'll get to 50. I haven't actually tested that. So I'll put some power on, still on dim bulb, and I've actually put the aerial on. I am so confident that this will fix it. Alright, it's warmed up. The screen's got 74 on it. I don't know what the input is. I can check actually. Let's see what we've got. This is B+, and that's 149. I'll go to full power, and we've got 220. Can't hear anything. That's annoying. Thought the radio would work. And that's 109. Yeah, it's supposed to be 100 tops, isn't it? So that's a bit high, but the radio's not working. It's making noises though. Oh, hang on.
Hi, life in Queensland. So we need to find a way to support businesses so that they simply cannot continue to absorb this type of cost. She says the business chamber will ask the state government for assistance.
Doesn't tune very well. There it goes. It works. I really need to. I'll just take that off full power. I really need to. In fact, I'll turn it off. I really need to go through and replace everything that's going to be replaced. Then I can make a final assessment on what resistors I need to get the, the criteria that these valves require. Now, whoever did this work in the first place put a giant 100 microfarad filter cap in there. It should have 2. They probably should be about maybe 10 and 16, maybe not even that. This is just drawing so much current through the rectifier when you turn the power on. It's amazing the rectifier is still working. In the meantime, I'm going on holiday for a week. It's our 50th wedding anniversary, so we're just going to go away for a week or so, and I'm looking forward to that. Congratulations to my wife and myself for 50 years. I think she's a saint, putting up with me for 50 years. But I love her very much, so we're going to have a good time. So I'll wrap this up for this week, and there is a short video just after this one if you want to watch that. And when we come back, I'll have a look at the chassis. That may even need repainting. I hope you enjoyed what we did this week, and I hope you can join me next time for my next radio adventure.
I'm just a hugger burn love. I'm just a hugger burn love.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. A bit of quiet thank you. On behalf of my wife and I, the horse walks into the bar and the bartender says, "Why the long face?"